Hi and welcome back. Up to now we learned how to create EPS and OBS, how to link between the EPS and OBS. Then we learned how to create a calendar, okay, and the importance of calendar. Then we learned how to create a project. Now we are going to learn about WBS and activities, how to create them and how to use them, okay. We already know all the activities in our one-story building project from our previous session. I hope you remember those activities like compound wall works, garden works, building works, etc. Now we are going to enter those details in Primavera. Okay, let's start. These are the activities in our one-story house project. First activity, site preparation. Now, after site preparation, three activities will start in parallel. First one, compound wall, foundation works. Okay, so foundation works of compound wall. Then piling and column works. The building basement works. Okay, this piling and column works. Then garden area preparation, preparing the garden area. Now, after compound wall foundation, these two activities will start. Now after compound wall foundation, compound wall block works will start. Okay, now after that block work, plastering, we will plaster the compound wall. Now after piling and column works, roof concreting will start. We will start concreting the roof. After roof concreting, we will start block works. Then we will plaster those block works. So block works and plastering works. Now after finishing this block works and plastering and the compound wall plastering, we can start painting, electric and plumbing works. So these three activities can be started. Okay. Now we will go to this garden works. So after finishing garden area preparation, we will start fertilizing soil. After fertilizing soil, planting will be started. After finishing painting, electric and plumbing works and planting works, handover of our one-story house will be there. So these are the activities which we are going to enter in Primavera. Activities. We call each of these as activities in project management or Primavera language. Okay. So these all are activities. Now, how many activities we have here in this project? We have 12 activities here. What we are going to do next is we are going to divide these activities into small groups. Okay. Site preparation. Let's put this activity in a group called starting works. So starting works group has only one activity, which is site preparation. Next, these three activities which are related to compound wall. Let's put these three activities in a group called compound wall. Next, these three activities, piling, column works, roof concreting, block work and plastering. Let's put these three activities in a group building. Okay. These activities, garden area works. Let's put these activities in a group garden. Now the last two works, painting, electrical, plumbing works and handover works. Let's group these two activities as finishing works. Okay. So two activities in finishing works group. So we divided all these 12 activities into 5 groups: starting works, compound wall, building, finishing works and garden. Site preparation goes in starting works group. All these compound wall related works goes in compound wall group. These building works goes in building group. Then garden works goes in garden group, and these finishing works goes in finishing works group. We call these groups as WBS, work breakdown structure, in project management or Primavera language. In real world projects, this is how we start working on schedules or plans. First, we will take the project. Then we will cut that project into big pieces. Those big pieces are WBS, work breakdown structure. Again, we will cut those big pieces into small pieces, and those small pieces are called activities. After listing all these WBS and activities, we will start entering those in Primavera. Here we listed all the WBS and activities for our project. So let's start entering these in Primavera. So Primavera is open. Now we are in projects window. We can see that here. Let's open our project. For that, first select our project, then right click and select open project. Okay. Our project is open. Now we are in activities window. Okay. So this is the place where we enter all our activities in our project. We have 12 activities, right? These 12 activities. We have to enter this. But before entering activities in Primavera, we need to enter WBS. These green boxes, these 5 WBS, we need to enter before entering activities. Presently, we are in activities window. In activities window, we can enter activities only. For entering WBS, we need to open WBS window. For that, open project menu. There we will see the WBS option, or we can open the WBS window from here. See these two square boxes, blue square boxes. This is the symbol for WBS. So let's open WBS from project menu. So I am clicking this WBS. WBS window is open now for this project. Our project name and code is shown here. Okay, so WBS window is open. Now here we can see three tabs. Okay, whenever we open a new window, that particular tab will appear here. First one WBS, then activities, then projects. Okay, let's go back to WBS window. Now here we need to arrange columns. Let's move this boundary for a better view. Okay, now here we need two columns only, WBS code and WBS name. Okay, we need to remove this total activities column. For that, right click here, select columns and select customize. From here, double click total activities. It will remove that column. Now click OK. So that column is gone. Now we have only two columns. Now let's add WBS. For that, click this plus button, this add button. Okay, that will add a new WBS. See, one new WBS is here. We can see the WBS symbol here. Also in the top line, we can see the folder sign, which is the symbol for project. Okay. Now our first WBS is starting works. So let's type it here in WBS name. Starting works. Okay. WBS name starting works. It's ended. Now next is WBS code. Primavera will create WBS code as project code .1. When we double click here in this code, we can see the number 1. Here we can type anything. So it will appear project code dot whatever we typed. Now here for our WBS starting works, let's give the WBS code as SW, the short form for starting works. So the WBS code will be project code dot SW. Our next WBS is compound wall. Okay, so let's add a new WBS and let's name the WBS as compound wall. Okay, so we given the name compound wall. Now we need to give code. Okay, before that, see these two WBS are in different levels, but in actual they are not in different level. They should be in same level. So let's make it in same level. For that, use these arrow marks. So let's move to left. Okay, so I am moving compound wall to left. Now these two are in same level. Now let's give the code CW, compound wall. Okay, our next WBS is building. So let's create a new WBS and name it as building. Okay, now let's move this WBS to same level. Okay, now the code is B for building. Okay, next WBS is garden. So create a new WBS, name it as garden. Okay, now the code is G for garden. Let's create a new WBS, move to left. Okay, now our last WBS is finishing works. Okay, so let's name it as finishing works. Okay, and code as FW for finishing works. Here we entered all our 5 WBS. Okay, so WBS entry in Primavera finished. Next is entering activities in Primavera. For that, let's go to activity window. We can open activities window by 3 methods. First one using this tab, second one using this shortcut. Okay, third one using this menu, project menu. See the activities here. Okay, so let's use the tab for opening activities window. So we are in activity window here. Now if you cannot see these WBS in your activity window in your Primavera, what you need to do is just right click here, then select group and sort. Group and sort window will open. You can see a blue highlighted cell in the middle of that window. Click there. A drop down will come. Select WBS from that drop down. Then click OK. Then you can see this WBS in the activity window. We have total 5 WBS, but as you can see here, we have now 8 WBS. Some of the WBS are repeating. This is because of a software bug. For resolving that, we need to refresh. For that, go to File menu, click this Refresh Data option. It will refresh the data and will remove that bug. See, now we have 5 WBS. Okay. Next, we need to modify and arrange the columns here in activity window. In Primavera, there are hundreds of columns. Okay, we don't want all of them while we work. Okay, so we keep only the columns which we really need. Let's remove some of the columns from here and keep only the columns which we need. For that, right click here, then select columns. Now here schedule percentage complete, this one we don't need, so let's remove it. Now remaining duration also let's remove. Okay, now activity ID, activity name, original duration, start, finish and float. Okay, we need all these columns, so let's keep this. I will explain these column details later. Okay, so let's click OK. So these are the columns which we really need for working. Now see this arrow mark here, this one. In my Primavera, now this arrow mark is in start column, but for you it may be in any column. Okay, but actually it should be in activity ID column, and for that just click here in activity ID. See, now the arrow mark moved from start to activity ID column. Now again when you click this, the arrow mark will go up. Again when you click, the arrow mark will go down. This arrow mark is used for column data arrangement in ascending and descending order. Arrow downwards means ascending and arrow upward means descending. Okay. Now same we can see in WBS window also. Here in WBS code we can see a 3-line symbol. Okay. Now when this symbol is on, we can see the WBS in levels. When we click here, it will turn to arrow mark. Now the data, WBS code data is in ascending order. Now again when we click, the WBS core data will be in descending order. Again when we click, the 3-line symbol will be back and the WBS will be shown as levels. Now remember, always turn on this 3-line symbol for WBS code. Then only we can create different levels for WBS. Here all WBS are in same level, but if we want, we can add WBS with different levels. For example, here let's add a new WBS. Now see, now this new WBS is under starting works. Okay, now if we click this minus mark here, it will go under starting works. This level difference can be seen only if this 3-line symbol is on for WBS code. If this is turned to arrow mark, now see the all data is arranged in ascending. So always turn on this 3-line symbol for WBS code. Now let's delete this new WBS. For that, right click and delete. Click yes. Now let's go back to activity window. Here this arrow mark is set for activity ID and all columns are modified. Now let's add activities. Here our first WBS is starting works. So we need to enter the activity site preparation, which is under starting works. For adding a new activity, first select the WBS, then click this add button. Okay, then a new activity window will appear. We have seen a similar window in our previous session, project creation. Now in a project there may be hundreds of activities. Now for every activity, if we are going through these process, it will take so much of our time. Now for avoiding that, use this option. Do not show this wizard again. Click OK here, then finish this. So from now onwards, while we add a new activity, that wizard window will not appear. Okay. If we want that window back, we can turn it on from settings. So our new activity is added. Now let's name it. Our activity is site preparation. So let's name it as site preparation. Okay. Site preparation. Okay, now the activity ID. Activity ID here is A1000, which Primavera is giving by default. If we want, we can change it by double clicking. Here I am keeping it as same. Duration here is 4 days, which also came by default. This start date, finish date, all these data can be changed. That we will learn later. Now let's concentrate on adding all these activities and naming it. Okay. So we added the activity site preparation for starting works WBS. Now our next WBS is compound wall. We need to add 3 activities there. So for adding, first select the compound wall WBS, then click this add button. Okay. Now our first activity is compound wall foundation. Compound wall foundation. Okay. Let's add another activity. Now second activity, compound wall block work. Now let's copy this first activity, then paste it here. Now remove this foundation and type block works. Okay, now the third activity, compound wall plastering. So let's add another activity here. Now let's copy this compound wall only, compound wall. Okay, let's paste it here, compound wall plastering. 3 activities added for compound wall. Next is building. Now let's add a new activity here. Our first activity is piling and column works. Okay, so let's type it, piling and column works. Now add a new activity. Our next activity, roof concreting. So let's type roof concreting. Okay, new activity. Next activity is block works and plastering. So block work and plastering. Okay, so we added 3 activities under building. Our next WBS is garden. Let's add activities for garden. Let's add a new activity. Okay, first activity, garden area preparation. So garden area preparation. Okay, next activity, fertilize soil. Okay, next activity, planting. Okay, so 3 activities are entered under garden. So last WBS, finishing works. So our first activity for finishing works is painting, electric and plumbing works. Okay, so let's add a new activity under finishing works and name it as painting, electric and plumbing works. Now let's add our final activity, handover. Add a new activity, then rename it as handover. Okay. 2 activities for finishing works WBS are entered. So we entered all the 12 activities and 5 WBS here. So this is how we create activities and WBS. Okay. I hope you understand all this, how to create WBS, how to create activities. Practice is must for mastering Primavera. So practice it. If you have any doubts, let me know.